Good afternoon, all you wild people out there. Hopefully, you guys had an awesome day in the market today. Obviously, a lot of shifting going on out there. OPEN looks to be done and rejected off the 200 moving average, and well, went south further today after the little dead cat bounce into the morning today. So that whole hype seems to be fading. We'll see how that goes over the next few days. But pretty good day today. I want to dive into all the stuff that I traded, the stuff that we did in the live stream today. Overall, some really good stuff that I want to dive into with you guys so you can hopefully learn a thing or two and take it into the rest of the week because there was a lot of findings out there today and some really good stuff. Overall, a really good day today. I'll show you real quick. Traded PLRZ, DFLI, PLCE, ABVE, SSYS, Open, Zoos, and BLNE. So let's go dive into it. Not too bad, pretty good day. And let's go ahead and get started. So start with PLRZ. This one I had a really good time trading today. And the big thing to note with stocks like this, and what of course I've noticed over the last few days is, for example, I don't even trade pre-market much. I'm more of an opening sort of 9:30 to 10:30, 11 trader. And so I need stocks that are going to provide continuation, stocks that are going to find follow-through, clean trend after the bell. And what I've been finding lately is these pre-market leading gappers have not been providing a whole lot of continuation after market open. And so what's been actually providing a whole lot more opportunity are these setups that come to fruition after the bell. So PLRZ today, it wasn't one of our big top gappers in pre-market this morning. It was active, but it wasn't a leading gapper. And so this one really wasn't on a lot of people's radars this morning, and that sort of gives you an upper hand. And what I've noticed over the last few trading days is these setups from pre-market, these leading gappers like this morning, I forget what we had in pre-market. It was HTOO and a couple of others. You have less edge there because you've got to think everybody and their mother is looking at the top gainers going into the bell, and so you are going to have increased competition there. And so it's going to be harder to have an edge on those. And so what I've noticed is a lack of follow through on those, a lot of chop, and just fades after the bell lately. And so what I've been really focusing on a whole lot more are the new setups to come to fruition after market open. These new setups start to get volume after the bell, 9:40, 9:50, after 10. That's where stuff starts to get a whole lot better once those trends form on these new setups that don't have all these eyes on them. It gives me a chance to get in early and sort of capitalize with some nice, easy exit liquidity. And so PLRZ today, it was actually a really good one. And I want to talk about this kind of in depth because this is one of those examples that is just really easy to trade. And it's a big moneymaker opportunity because these stocks that put in place a range like this are ATMs. Now, what do I mean by putting in place a range? Well, this thing makes the first move, and I don't play it through here because price action, I just wasn't a massive fan of. It was kind of, you probably saw it this morning. I didn't love how it was trading, a little bit too choppy. And so I waited for it to pull back and put in place a defined area of risk and a range. And it did this morning. And so as I'm watching this, we see first price consolidate and break up to the highs here. So we know based on this area of demand, we can actually draw this out. This is an area of what we can call demand, like an area of interest. Buyers are interested in price here. And so again, we understand this. We can look at this and play it as sort of the supply and demand sort of range setup here. And you can see I played it twice this way. And so I'm looking here for the pivot. Let me get this line off the screen. And first, when we consolidate, leg up to the high, price pulls back, and then again confirms, makes me back to the upside, reverses out of that zone again. So again, further confirming that is an area of interest. Now, we have VWAP here right beneath price as well. And so that again provides some confluence. And so we have these lower highs forming here off these highs. And again, putting in place a bit of a range. So price pulls back. We have this area of demand beneath price with VWAP beneath pricing and acting as confluence. So I take a beautiful entry here off the pullback in this area of demand after confirming on this previous move. And I get a nice move. I try to get kind of aggressive for the breakout. I played it here from 155 all the way up into the 166s. I tried to add for the breakup through highs. I didn't get it, but nonetheless, still a great trade. And then again, price pulls back within this range again. I take it again for the range back up into the high of its range. And again, same story here, just playing it within this nice tightening wedge. And so I was super happy with this. This is where the money is made, is on these setups like this that really put in place a bit of a range. Gives you a nice, easy defined risk to play. Just super nice, man. And then it breaks out. I'm watching it for a possible breakout entry. I don't like how it's trading. We have the highs sitting here as well. So again, you have this sort of area of drawn liquidity off the highs here too, which again acts as supply. So I didn't play this breakout here, and I'm glad that I didn't because it knifed pretty violently. It figures about a 40-cent knife off the high. So that was that. Pretty happy with it overall. But that's how that went there. So that was PLRZ. DFLI was also pretty freaking snazzy here as well. So go ahead and scoot on back here and see. But this thing was pretty good. I got some pretty good trades on this. I had 2 trades early And a trade to wrap up the morning. My last trade of the day was on this as well, and I was able to at least sort of wipe off the morning with a beautiful end with a nice little curl here on DFLI. And again, this is a very easy one where it put in place a range, and I was able to trade this pretty similar to PLRZ. Now, I played it later in the morning. It was about 10:30 here whenever I finally started to like this, and I'll zoom out on the other chart here so you can actually see what I'm looking at. But actually, it's harder to see on that time frame, is it not? So we'll stick to this one here. But again, same story. Take a look at this here. So again, just like PLRZ, it puts in place a range. And it becomes very easy to trade this way using these simple pivots here. And so again, this thing pulls back aggressively. Look at this. It gets bought up heavy off of this 20 moving average. And so it gets bought up heavy off that 52-cent level. And so now we know this is an area of interest. There are buyers sitting through this level that are interested in price. And so again, we see that. And so price pulls back again. I take the entry, risking the bottom of this zone to try and get that curl back to the previous highs. Again, just like PLRZ. And I get it. I get the nice move back here off this pullback, back up into the high. And again, I'm doing pretty well on this. And so from here, again, playing it within this range, this past area of demand, played it here from 59 cents up to about the 60s. So nothing too big, but at least another little base hit. Now, same thing happens here, and we know how we play the moving averages. Once the moving averages flip, we can assume downtrend, and then if it reclaims, we can assume it's in an uptrend or front side. And so, again, we have the trend identified here, and we know we're looking at this break of trend. And so price pulls back and gets pushed back up off the 50 moving average and pivots back up over the EMA 5 here. And so we see it pivot back above the EMA 5 at 20. And guess what happens? So we take a little breakout here, and I see it pull back, and I want to see it hold and curl back up off of this pivot. Because, again, what we've noted from earlier is this is an area of interest. Because look at this here. This is an area of interest. And so we understand this, and I'm able to take it to a really nice pullback. So price pulls back. I get a little out off the pullback after confirming, because we can see the price pulls back in this next candle here. Tiny little body shows weakness. And so whenever it pulls back with weakness and tape is slow, that's a good entry opportunity. That shows me that buyers have a chance to come back in as it pulls back and sort of loses steam off the moving average. So I take it there at the bottom of this range, and I ride it back up through the highs, back up into area of supply overhead, as you can see right here. Again, gorgeous trade. And I take it again the same exact way off the pivot from 59 all the way up into the 64s. And so again, another pretty easy trade. So again, very happy with this. And again, just solid execution here. I really wouldn't have done anything different. Now, moving along to PLCE, I was breaking this one today. I wasn't really a massive fan of this. I saw this thing start to get perked up early in the morning, and you can even see this afternoon volume has lacked a good bit. So nothing that I was able to do a whole lot with. You can see I tried to take the breakout of the bell here, and just sort of choppy back and forth. It was a good setup with this nice tightening wedge into the open. I took the breakout over VWAP and just hesitated. You can see this massive sort of indecisive candle there after the open. So break even on this. Nothing a whole lot there. ABVE, another really good one from last night's watch list. If you watched my watch list video from last night, you knew that I was watching this thing today. You knew exactly how I was watching it today, and I traded it, and I did pretty well with 2 wins on it. But the only issue was the lack of follow-through. This thing didn't have a lot of strength today, and so you probably know how that went. You can see here it was not a very significant win. Traded it really well. Nice little base hits, but not really significant in any way. So again here, price breaks out. I take a nice 1-minute pullback, get a move up into the highs, pulls back, makes a move back to the high and confirms. I take the breakout. I'm just taking micro pullbacks along the way here, looking for that big breakout, because this chart here was fantastic. I don't know if you guys were watching this, but look at the daily time frame here, and it is absolutely perfection, or at least it was. Not so much now. I don't really care. Well, it's still not too bad, actually. And so I was looking for this to start going back up here today after, I'll show you how this was looking today, where I'm looking for this curl off of the higher lows that it was attempting to form. You can even see here, put in place a bit of a bottom here too, looking for that curl. And I think it might still happen. Maybe not today, of course, but I think going into the rest of the week, that's definitely a possibility. So that is that. ABVE, not too bad. Really good setup. And overall, I just wish we got more follow through on that, but still not too shabby. OPEN, didn't really do a whole lot with that today. ZOOZ we actually did, though. And this was probably the last one that we had here that I rather enjoyed. It was a fairly easy one to trade here. And it was kind of short-lived. It was very light on volume. I saw it breaking over its opening highs. Look at this here. So we have the high of day formed here off of $1.95, and so I'm watching it over that $1.95 level where we can see this almost low volume flag forming, which was so interesting to me because this thing had hardly any volume. Then all of a sudden, look at the spike of volume here, and so it starts to hit the scanner, and I take it here risking this low, and I get a nice little move. But again, very short-lived move. I got a move here, just playing the simple pullback, 205 to 223, so a nice little 7-8%, not too shabby. That's really it. I've had some little stuff on BLNE too, which was okay. BLNE was very low volume though. I actually took a pretty much break-even trade on this. I had a little win, then I had a little loss. You can see right here, I tried to play it within this tightening wedge, look for that breakout higher, and the volume was just so light. I took it for a small win with a bad entry, came back break even. So not really anything here. Volume was just so light. I was waiting for the breakout to get back in on the confirmed entry, and just never happened. So that's that. But nonetheless, really good day today. Hopefully you guys had an awesome day in the market too. Hopefully this little breakdown helped y'all just a little bit, as long as I can help y'all every day and give y'all some explanations, some breakdowns of the things that I did out there today with the team. Then that's all that I care about. So make sure to subscribe for daily breakdowns just like this. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Let me know in the comments how you did today. And of course, as always, make sure to claim your 7-day free trial for access to watch me sort of trade these stocks every morning, get alerts, education, chat room access, watch list, and so much more. And that link will be down in the description below. And I will see y'all there.